My mama, she walked in your studio, and I think I told you this. You would think God just spit her out if she was alive today. Just as gentle and peaceful. But if you try to convince my mama that Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian, she would stomp you to death. Why? Why would she? Huh? Well, she didn't know Christianity never happened until 100 years after Jesus was dead. She didn't know Jesus' brother James. They murdered him the same way they murdered Jesus. She didn't know that King James Version, that's the only version she knew. And King James was honest, more honest than my mother. He didn't say it was Jesus' version, God's version, Buddha's version, Muhammad's version. He said, this is my version. Huh? Okay? But she didn't know King James was king of England. She didn't know that King James was such a weird, strange homosexual. He hated women so bad he killed his mama. And his lover was Lord Buckingham, who Buckingham Palace named after.
Right.
And so I'm talking about that type of ignorance that you just sit and pick up something. And so when you look at, you know, what they tell us and all the things that they do. You ever been to a big cathedral? You ever see them goblins? Those men with them wings on?
Yes, sir.
You ever see them little 2-year-old naked boys with angel wings? Not girls. You ain't got no naked girls. That's where pedophilia come from, okay? All right? And yet and still we embrace that mess. I can go anywhere in the world today and see a prostitute, and that streetwalker, I can recognize her as a prostitute by the way she walked, the way she talked, the way she chewed a gum, the way she would. But if I come to Memphis today and you introduce, if they don't tell me they're Christians, I don't know they one. How can I recognize a hoe by their demeanor, but I don't know you're a Christian till you tell me one? Huh? There's something wrong with that. And so the great thing about truth in the world, it don't stop just because of somebody's ignorance, somebody's been trained to believe something to enhance other people. And so consequently, I went to a high school called Sumner High School. Bulldog. Did your school have a mascot? What was the name of it?
At first it was the Rebels, then they changed to the Wolverine.
Okay, the Rebels, right? But now, you know what you could not name that public school? The Sumner High School Green Jesus. Hummus High School White Jesus. Black Jesus. Why? Because the church in the state, right? Have you ever seen a school named the Charles Sumner High School Red Devil? The Blue Devil? Now, I live in a Christian society. You can name a school after the devil, but you can't name it after Jesus. Huh?
Yeah, wise problem.
And then the Christians go to the game on Saturday and pull for the devil. Go, you devils. Go, you devil. Hey, Christians, who you for? The devil, huh? And the children come home with a helmet or a T-shirt on with a devil with a pitchfork, huh? And nobody see anything wrong with that. And so all at once when somebody come through with a new breakthrough, so I don't have no problem with my grandmother calling me on the radio show. Son, I don't agree with you. Spare the rod and spoil the job. And they got us so ignorant, we don't know that's a story about a shepherd boy. Huh? The shepherd boy leads the sheep, but he has this stick in his hand, and it's called the rod. And when the sheep get close to the edge of the cliff, he just guides them. He don't hit them with it. My mama used to tell me, she said, a rich man, you tell them white folks she worked for a made a man. She come on, a rich man, the Bible says a rich man got as much chance of getting into heaven as a camel has through ivory needle. You ever heard that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, she didn't know that when you come out them old Arabian towns, you know, them old towns, you come from one to another, the only reason you knew you was leaving one town, right? It had an arc. That's called a needle's eye. And so they said a rich man has as much chance getting into heaven as a camel had getting through eye of a needle. They didn't say it couldn't get through. They said the bigger the load, the more you got to stoop. Now, my mother went to her grave believing at a little bitty needle, which wasn't invented then. So when you sit and you throw it out there, I mean, you see it, but that don't count, you know. And so consequently, where we going now is to shows like yours. There's 40,000 radio stations like yours. We don't depend on NBC and CBS and all that crazy like we used to.
Right.
And so consequently, when you see a movie that comes through like this here, wow. You know, it was a woman many years ago. She had a guy that lived with her, you know, her roommate, not lover.
Mm-hmm.
And he taught at the #1 school in the world. In the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, little children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he told her one day, said, your daughter, if she was a boy, she could run the world. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, I teach nothing but men. And I've been there like 20 years. I've never taught these rich children that's as smart as your daughter. So you know what that woman did? She took her daughter out of school and kept her home for 2 years and raised her as a boy. And 2 years later, she went to get her in that school, and believing she's a boy and her aptitude, they put her in there. She grew up. She became the first woman pope in the history of the Catholic Church. Didn't nobody know this? Oh, she's a woman. Well, she got so comfortable, she thought she was free.
Mm-hmm.
She got pregnant and told folks she was pregnant. They stomped her to death on the balcony, okay? Okay, stomped her to death on the balcony. And so consequently, when you sit and you look at that's why you're supposed to be able to feel it. Don't nobody have to tell you your house is on fire. You can smell the smoke, huh?
Right.
You can feel the heat. Oh, where that heat coming from, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And so consequently, when your show, people will pick it up too, and then they'll say, wow, I didn't, Jesus Christ, I'm not aware of that.